Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my November book haul part 2. And again, I was really hoping this month was not going to be one that I had to do 2 of, but I just got too many books. So this last section is all the stuff I got from Amazon, plus 2 books I got from Barnes & Noble. I'd forgotten about those. So we're just going to do the 2 from Barnes & Noble first. Now, the great things about these is these didn't cost me very much money. I had a $20 gift card still from Christmas last year that I hoarded somehow, stuck it in my wallet and hid it from myself. And I keep telling myself, oh, I need to go spend that. Oh, I need to go spend that. And I kept going, oh, I'll wait till I'm, more desperate. Well, clearly when I tried to curb myself, I became desperate. So, oh well. So these 2 books I got the weekend after Thanksgiving. So, and then I had a coupon for, I think, 25% off one of the books. So, I think I paid like, $6 or $7 for both of them. So that was a pretty good deal. So the first one I picked up was Please Look After Mom by Kyun-Suk Shin. Sorry. Anyway, so this is, I believe, a Korean author, and I can't remember now if it is translated from the Korean, by Chi Young Kim. So this book is a story about a family and what happens when the mom disappears from a busy subway station. So I heard about this on Unmanaged Mischief, and I was really intrigued by it. And then now I've seen a couple other people read it as well. So it's been on my my wish list for quite a while, and I just went ahead and decided I was going to buy it since I had the gift card and the coupon. So that was one. The other one I got was The Address by Fiona Davis. Sorry, my brain. Davis. Anyway, this is one of those ones where there's 2 timelines, which is like my favorite historical fiction trope or thing that they do, framing thing of a story where they have the really far in the past and then something a little closer to the future, but maybe not right now. But this one has to do with the Dakota in New York City, and so it's like the family who was the architect who built it, I guess. And then one story is about how this woman was brought in to be the manager back in, I think it was like just turn of the century. I can't remember what year it was. And then 2014, I don't know what year it is. It's 100 years later. I think it's like a couple of, somebody who's related to the architect. Her cousin has the apartment there that has been in the family, I guess, for a while, and she's renovating it or something. And I think she comes in to help because she's a interior designer, and so it's her looking into the history and stuff. And I think she wants to know more about this woman who managed it back in the turn of the century. Actually, I wish I knew which date it was, but it doesn't matter. It's like a while ago. Anyway, long time ago. Anyway, it just sounded fun, and I'm hoping to get to that. So then my Amazon buys are kind of all over the board. I did get one manga, which is Fruits, Baskets, and Other by Nasuki Kaya. Sorry, my brain. I'm just tired. Anyway, so this is number 2 in the second series of the Fruit Baskets stuff, which is their descendants kind of thing, their kids. And so far I'm really liking the series. I have not read this yet. I meant to read it like 2 weeks ago, and then I was still in nonfiction November as well as writing my novel. So I just didn't get to this. I will get to this probably fairly soon, because it is one of my, it's, again, my favorite manga series is Fruit Baskets, and this is, again, a continuation. I'm excited. I did get The Odyssey by Homer, translated by Emily Wilson, because I heard so many people talking about the translation being really good, and I guess it's the first time a female has done the translation from scratch. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to rereading it again. I read The Odyssey in high school, and I only have like vague memories of the whole story. Like I remember parts of it, but I don't remember it all. So I kind of wanted to reread it anyway, and I thought, oh, I'll just get that translation. I'll probably at some point get another one of the Iliad too, because I don't have a copy of that either. And yes, Cooper, your tail's in my way. And then I got an urban fantasy, Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Rohorse. And I've heard so many people talk about this and really like this. And again, I really love urban fantasy. I just don't make time to read it. I have so many books on my shelf that hopefully I'll start getting to. But this is one I want to pick up fairly soon. So it's a Native American woman who fights, or I guess is a monster hunter after the world's gone through a climate catastrophe kind of thing. So I hear it's really good. I'm excited. Not that I need to start a new series, but you know, whatever. I also got The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I'd seen this a couple times on some other people's channels, but I think I finally clicked the pre-order button for the paperback when Mel's Bookland Adventures mentioned it. And I know it's like a mystery, like back in the 1950s, there's this group of girls who are at this kind of like a boarding school for girls who nobody wants to deal with. And something happens to them. And then like 60 years later, some reporter is checking into it, or journalist, and trying to figure out what happened. And so I'm kind of curious to see what happens. Everybody I've heard talk about it has liked it. So I'm kind of excited. And then, so this is a Victorian read, A Struggle for Fame by Charlotte Riddle. So this was a book I saw on MH Books, and then I kept looking for her to read it, and she never got around to it, I don't think. She read some other books by her. So she was a very prolific Victorian author who is kind of not known very much about now. And I think it's because she may have been more mainstream than some of the ones who are classics. But I'm kind of interested to see, this is about a story about a woman who tries to get fame in order to pay for things, and you know, to struggle with life and stuff. And I guess things that she does, you know, she gets her fame, but of course it comes at a price. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. Cooper, you are not helping me, but it's fun. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, and then I have a couple of nonfiction books. I got The Color of Law, A Forgotten History of How Our Government Segregated America by Richard Rothstein. And I heard about this again on a couple of channels. I think the most recent one I saw it on was Books Like Whoa. And I really thought it sounded interesting because it's one of those things where you don't realize how certain laws were put in place to segregate people or put them into certain areas. And I don't like to think that happened at all, anywhere, to anybody of any type. So it'll be fascinating to see how that all happened and what actually is happening now, because I don't know. I think it's probably going to go into that. So could you get down, cat? I love you too. So I also got The Art of Memoir by Mary Carr. I read The Liars Club many, like when it came out. I actually was working at Walden Books, I think at the time, or it had just come out when I worked there. Anyway, it was around that time, and so I read it then, and I remember really enjoying it, but I sold my copy many years ago because I didn't think I needed to reread it. Now, of course, I kind of want to reread it. But I did want to get her book on The Art of Memoir, which talks about, you know, writing a memoir, and I'm guessing some stuff on that. Or tells you how to do certain things. I feel like sometimes I don't remember everything, so I would like to write more down what I'm doing and what's going on, and try to remember things, and so that maybe later I'll remember them. I'm horrible. Bad memory. And clearly my little brain is fried because the cat is distracting me majorly. So I also got The Lonely City, Adventures in the Art of Being Alone by Olivia Lang. And so I saw this going around after her other book, Crudo, has come out, and people were mentioning this book as a book they'd read before, and it's a nonfiction book about her moving to New York City, I think in her 30s, and being in a big city like that and being alone. And speaking as someone who's moved several times to different cities and different states, and sometimes I had family around and sometimes I did not. I'm holding his tail down. It's driving me crazy. I want to see how she handles that, and how and maybe make myself feel a little better about when I made those moves of the things that I did, that I don't feel that, or if I did or I didn't handle it as well as I should have, or something. I don't know. I just kind of want to see what happens with this. So I don't know. It sounded interesting. So I don't know if you guys have read it. You'll have to let me know. But I'm kind of curious to see how it is. Because again, being someone who's been single for a very long time, and I'm just used to being by myself, except for the cats that won't go away. Anyway. And then another book I got was Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. I'm in the middle of reading this right now. It was it's kind of the holdover from Nonfiction November, but again, this is written in 2000, so it's quite a while ago. But he went back and reread it and made handwritten notes in it from in 2012. So it's kind of, as I said, it's kind of interesting to read those. And again, I never read this book. I remember this coming out in that time because I was working at Walden's, and it was huge. Everybody was always asking for the book at the time. And it's not a book that I would normally say I would pick up because I don't like to cook. And I've probably said that on this channel quite often, but it is fascinating to hear about the restaurant industry. I'm having, as I said, I think I understand why people really, really like it. So anyway, it is really interesting. And then the book that I think is probably was not my best buy, except that it was on sale and I had another $5 off of that. So maybe I'll get around to this sometime in my lifetime. So I have this kind of weird fascination. Well, not weird fascination. I don't want to say it that way. I do like to read up. There's not very many writers that I read like their notebooks or papers or journals and everything. And I recently just bought the unabridged journals of Sylvia Plath. And so I found these. The second volume of this just came out, but the first one went on sale, so I bought it. So it's the first one of the letters of Sylvia Plath. This is volume 1, 1940 to 1956. So it is massive. I did not know that. I was thinking it was going to be a smaller hardback. I don't usually buy hardbacks either, but I was attracted to this. And I'm kind of, as I said, I don't know what it is about her, but and again, I've read a lot of, The Bell Jar was one of those books that I don't want to say like resonate, like I can say I felt that way or understood that. But it was one of those very profound books when I read it that I didn't understand maybe what people go through that I wasn't going through until I read that book. Like that was a really key book for that, to open my eyes to that we don't all see the world the same way kind of thing. And it was, in high school, we all got to, we got to pick what books there's some books we got to pick and some we had to read. And I think that was one of the ones that I picked out of the list of which ones I wanted to read. And I'm so glad I did. I've read it a couple of times. And I said, I read her original journal book, the journals of Sylvia Plath that were curated by her husband. But again, I have the new one, which is the unabridged journals. So I do want to read that fairly soon. But now I'm like, I got the letters as well. So I might do that first and then come back to this one, or I might intermix them. I'm not sure yet. I kind of want to do kind of a project and just kind of try to get through these books. And then, of course, I have the second one kind of on my wish list, watching for the price to drop. Or if I decide to maybe use Christmas money for that. We'll see what happens. But that was kind of, I didn't need that right this minute, but it did go on sale and I had a coupon, so whatever. So those are all the books I got in November. Yeah, that was a lot of books with both book hauls. I got a lot of different things. I got a lot of stuff I want to read. And yeah, I just need to sit down and read now, don't I? I'm doing a lot of reading, kinda, sorta. Anyway, so are there any of these books that you've read that you really enjoyed or think I should bump up to the top of my list? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.